Hi everyone, we're here today on the second hole at Peebles Golf Club and we're going to discuss probably the most common faults in golf. So grip and setup make your golf swing. So if you have a poor setup, you have to compensate for that to make it effective or make the correct movement. So what we're going to discuss today is four basic faults that plagues the golf swing. So what we're going to do is, to start off with, we're going to talk about one of the most common faults in golf, and that is when the weight is positioned towards the heels. So when the weight's positioned towards the heels, you kind of sit back. So what that does is it makes you swing a little bit rounded, so you swing a little bit into out, and then the ball's pulled to the left. Your body rotates that way, so your body will rotate to the left. So what happens is the club and the body work on different planes. So what you need to work on is, if you are taking the club back too far on the inside, that's where you'll get that hooking action in flight, so the ball will generally move right to left in flight. So what you need to feel like you're doing is just sitting up there, but if you are struggling with having the weight on your heels, what you'll generally do is you'll lift up on the backswing, your arms will lift up to try and get that club back on plane. So what you need to do to fix this, you need to put your weight more towards the arches of your feet, so the middle of your feet. That'll help you keep your balance a bit better and swing. That's a better strike. Another fault we're going to talk about is grip. So what generally happens is people hold it, so if I come from this camera angle, in my left hand, people hold it too much through the palm instead of the fingers. So what this does is, when the club's pulled down the downswing, the left hand doesn't grip naturally. So what happens is the club face is, the left hand can't rotate, so the club face is open. So what this generally causes is a slice. So if I grip it like this, when I come back down into impact, the club face is pointing right. So that's where you get that slice from, so you have to counteract that by swinging over the top. So what you need to do is, if you do slice the ball, when you take the club back and then you come down, feel like your body and the club stops before impact, just to double check that face is square or slightly closed. So a fix for that, a fix for the grip, is try and feel like you see, when you look down the left shoulder, try and see if you feel like you can see 2 to 3 knuckles. That'll close the club face through impact, and the club delivery will be slightly squarer. So that was a good strike, a little bit of a draw. So another thing we're going to talk about is posture, and poor posture creates a bad swing. So generally what happens is people think that you bend from your hips forward and they get too hunched over the ball, they get too crouched, and then they can't rotate properly. So you need to lean forward from the hips. So if you have a straight back, your body can rotate around the spinal axis correctly. If you have a bent back, it's impossible for you to rotate properly. So what you do is you lift out of your posture, and when you come to compensate for that on the downswing, the arms are moving more than the body, so it's an over the top swing. So it's almost like this, club picks up and there's no body rotation, it's just arms and hands. So what you need to do is you need to feel like, from this angle, feel like you have a slight lean from your hips, and just try and feel like you're activating your upper body a bit more. So just try and feel like you're rotating your shoulders a bit more. So just rotating your shoulders and just lean forward. Another cause we're going to talk about is aim. 90% of golfers that aim to the right think they aim straight. So we're going to attack this from this point of view. To compensate, so if you're aiming to the right, to compensate for that, you have to somehow open your shoulders to get the club back on plane, which it creates a poor release. You don't fully release the golf club. So if I come from this angle, you aim too far to the right, so you have to get the club back on plane by swinging over the top, so your shoulders move out of position. So what I mean by open shoulders is your body points to the left, your hips point to the left. So what this creates is when you come back down into impact, you're on an out to in swing path, so you're cutting across the body, the club's travelling across the ball. That shortens the swing arc because the club's travelling less distance, and you get that slice to the right. So it's almost like this. So you get that shot that starts left of target and goes further right of target. So what you need to focus on is just aiming straight. Feel like you're leading the swing with your arms and hands, and feel like the club head is getting just before the club gets to impact, the club face is slightly closed or square. So that's four of the most common faults in golf that plague. 4 of the most common faults in golf. So that's basically a guideline to follow on. If you've got any thoughts on the video, why don't you comment below. If you want to subscribe to my channel, why don't you do that at Gmail Golf? It's free of charge. And why don't you follow me on Twitter at Gmail Golf? Thank you.